Champion status. Champion status.
Victoria Bulahova here in Hammond, Indiana with Merciless McGee, who just won an unanimous decision win over DJ Morrison. Murray, congratulations on your comeback. How did you think the fight went?
Well, my timing was a bit off, a lot off, because I'm coming from a 2-year layoff. So I took the fight with her just to see how I would feel in the ring. So, I mean, I feel like I did pretty good due to the level of fight that I had, but I know I got a lot to work on.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your camp and preparation to this fight. Like you mentioned yourself, 2-year layoff. Where did you train, and who did you train with to prepare for the fight?
I trained at a gym called Maxim's in Hobart. It's a MMA, kickboxing, and boxing gym. I trained with a guy named Armando, and I trained with Angel, and sometimes I would go to Chicago and get some training with Carlos Jones as well for this fight.
As well, you spent some time at Sam Colonna boxing and MMA gym?
Yes, I did. I spent some time with Sam Colonna as well. He would get me a lot of sparring, excuse me, with some of the girls at his gym.
Could you mention and talk a little bit in detail, who did you spar with and what experience did it bring to the table for you?
I know I sparred with a girl named Sarah out there, Kim. It was another girl that I sparred. I can't remember her name at the moment, forgive me. But Sam has a camp of girls over there. So it's like so many of them, I don't remember all of their names.
How helpful was it for you to prepare for that fight?
That was a big help because I didn't know where I was at because like I told you, I haven't fought in 2 years. I had my son and I had a cesarean section when I had him. So for me, even getting back into sparring was nerve-wracking for me because I didn't know how I would feel being that I had got cut and all that a year ago. So they were a big help because sparring with females, it's like more so on your level, so you could kind of go, they can go as hard as they want and you can. So that was like a blessing for me.
Well, again, we're coming back to the 2-year layoff. How was the transition for you from being a full-time boxer, full-time fighter, and sharing the experience of being the status of full-time mother?
That was difficult because I've been boxing for 16 years and I never had to intertwine my working out along with having a son. So it was times that if my son was sick or something, I would have to miss the gym, and like I couldn't spend a lot of time in the gym like I used to having a baby. Plus all the weight that I had gained, I spent a lot of time working on getting that mommy fat off of me.
How happy were you with the way that you were ready for this fight?
I was pretty satisfied with my preparation for this fight. I was. I lost the weight properly. I didn't really have a problem losing the weight. My only thing was my timing is still off a lot. So that was my biggest issue. I knew that I would have going into the ring.
How hungry for you for boxing, and how anxious were you to be back in the ring?
I felt the same way I felt when I was 14 years old and I started boxing again today.
How blissful it is for you to have a son, and talk a little bit about him.
My son. I love my son more than anything. I gave up boxing for him to have him, and he's one of the major reasons why I went back into it, because I see how I inspire other children and how they, the kids are the ones who run after me, or they're the ones who always talk about me and they think so highly of me. And it's easy for me to explain that to my son, but I want him to grow up and see it.
Well, behind your belt, right now 22 wins. You just had a few losses, but 2 of them you took from top-ranked girls, Holly Holm and Erica Farias. What experiences do you take for the future from those 2 bouts?
With Holly Holmes, I learned that you have to do strength training, because I used to just box off talent. And when I boxed her, she was so much stronger than me that it made the fight harder. She would hit my arms and it would hurt. And I knew then, like, I need that kind of power. And then with boxing with Erica, I learned that you have to stay busy in a fight, because any slowing down, you give your opponent a chance to outpoint you or, you know, get the decision.
What new did you implement into this training camp based on the experiences from the past?
Well, honestly, with this training camp, I didn't implement anything new because, well, I had about 2 months to get ready for this fight. But as I told you, with that 2-year layoff, I really was trying to, excuse me, I really was trying to get my body back into the groove of working out and getting in shape, and that was really difficult because having a baby, it breaks down everything. So I was really basically trying to get my strength back and get myself back into the groove of even being in shape.
I don't want to take spotlight from you, but I have to ask this question. Holly Holm is about to fight Ronda Rousey, the #1 name right now in mixed martial arts. You fought Holly Holm. What do you think Holly Holm's chances are against Ronda Rousey in the octagon?
I think I'm betting on Holly because I fought Holly, and not only just because I fought her. Holly told me 3 years ago after I fight that I was her last fight, and she was like, I want to go into MMA so I can fight Ronda Rousey. And I said, really? She said, yeah. And she was like, I have to learn how to defend the arm bar first. And that was 3 years ago. And Holly's 9-0 with 6 knockouts in MMA. And I know the type of fighter she is from fighting her. So I believe she has a great chance of beating her.
Do you think that she could deliver a knockout?
She could. It's possible. I've never seen Ronda's chin, honestly, tested by somebody of Holly's strength and size.
Are you going to be watching the fight?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Well, what are the goals for you right now? What the future holds and what are you planning to do?
Well, with this fight, it was really a tune-up fight for me. I'm not really taking a lot of, how do I say, it's not a big celebrated fight for me. It was a tune-up fight. I plan on getting my timing back and taking on opponents that are of a higher caliber so I could become a world champion.
You hungry for that?
Very. I wanted to be a world champion since I was 14, and nothing takes me away from boxing, even from having a baby, losing my promoter, all type of things that happen to me. I still always come back to the ring.
Who are behind McGee's back? Who are your main supporters and who helped you throughout that camp and preparation for that fight?
Well, my coach, Carlos Jones, helped me. My friend and fighter, Angel Hernandez, who won, me and him go to the gym every day and we work out. I started training at a new gym called Maxim's, which was a big help for me because they welcomed me with open arms and they let me train and they helped me out without a problem. So all my fans that bought tickets and showed up to help me, to see me fight, was a big help because without them, there's no point in boxing.
Well, on the front of your trunks, you have your last name. What is on the back?
Rogie. George Rogie, he was my first manager, and we are still friends. And I'm a very loyal person. He doesn't manage me anymore, but if it wasn't for what him and Octavius did for me, my career would never went anywhere. So I always keep that on the back of my trunk forever.
Any words for your fans at the end? Maybe you would like to thank somebody and where the fans could find Mary McGee.
Well, I just like to thank all the fans that came out to watch me fight, and they spent their hard-earned money to watch me fight. I plan on giving you better fights, more exciting fights and knockouts, hopefully in the future, in a world title.
Mary Merciless McGee here at Hammond Civic Center with an unanimous decision win. Good luck in the future, champ.
Champion status.